Good morning. Today is Tuesday, the 25th day of Adar. Today is the birthday of the Rebbe Chaya Mishka, and this is the Rebbe's wife. You go around the world today, you have so many girls named after the Rebbe. Schusa Yagan Elena. So we continue today in the middle of chapter 37 in Tanya. And today we're talking about elevating our part of our soul and our part in this world. You know, sometimes we wonder why we end up in certain places in the world, and we say it's by coincidence. But of course, it says, "May Hashem mitzadei gever konanu," that God prepares our footsteps wherever we end up being. It is because there is a mission. There is something in this world, in this place, that is connected with our soul. And by doing a mitzvah, by elevating ourselves, eating for the proper reason, studying Torah, helping someone, everything we do is connected with every part that you're come in contact with, directly or indirectly. And Alter Rebbe explains that just like there is 600,000 general souls, and then we have sub-souls, like the branches, the roots and the branches. Each soul is like a root, and there is the branches of each soul. So too, there is also 600,000 parts in this world. Every Jew is connected with a certain part in the world. And directly or indirectly is connected with that part and is elevating that part in this world. It says the tzaddikim, they know exactly where their part of their soul is connected, and they look for their place, and they come there, and they do what they need to do. The average person, most of us, Hashem ends up bringing us in this place. We go on a plane, and we have an emergency landing somewhere. Or whatever you go, you travel, you meet people, you end up in places you didn't plan to be. All of this is because this is the mission that we have to elevate every single part in this world that is connected with our soul. And when we do this, we elevate ourselves, we elevate the parts of the neshama. We also eliminate the nourishment that the evil of the world has. The evil can only sustain itself because they nourish from the holy side by way of the intermediary, which is the klipas noiga, the shell that is neutral. And when we elevate everything to holiness, automatically we basically cut off the source of energy and the life from the evil, so they cease to exist. This is what's going to happen when Mashiach comes. But right now we're already so close to it, and even though we don't see it openly, that this is the reality. And ultimately we'll see it when Mashiach comes. So let's look inside what the Alter Rebbe says in today's beautiful lessons. The Alter Rebbe, Omiyachar, Sheklolus nefesh achiyunis, Shebeklolus Israel, Tiye merkava kedoisha LaHashem. Once the totality of the vital souls of the community of Israel will become a holy chariot to Hashem, What does it mean becoming a holy chariot? Just like a chariot follows exactly where the rider wants to go. So when we Jews go and do the same thing, we elevate and we do the will of Hashem, the will of God, we become like a chariot. We become like the chariot, a holy chariot to Hashem. Azai, then gam klolus achayus shel oilam hazeh, sheklipas loiga achshav. Then also the general vitality of this world, which now consists of the klipas noiga. What is the source of the life now? The klipas noiga, which is the neutral shell, as we explained. There is the evil shells which conceal the godliness. And there is the noiga shell. Noiga means light, which is a shell that is meant to protect the fruit, just like a shell of a fruit that protects the fruit. And that can be elevated into holiness and can also be used to conceal godliness if it's used in the wrong way. Generally, now the life and vitality of the world now is that shell, klipas noiga, the neutral shell. But when we use it out to holiness, then it is being elevated. Teitzei az mitum osa vechel osa vesala liktusha. This will also emerge from its impurity and sickness. It says the impurity, the term impurity refers to the evil of the klipa, and the sickness refers to the element of good that klipas noiga contains, which is nevertheless the good of the klipa, but not holiness. And when we do it, when we use it for kedusha, it's being elevated to holiness, and will ascend to holiness. And this to become a chariot to God, bizgalos kevoidoi, upon the revelation of His glory. V'ro kol basa yachdav. And then, as it says, it is written, all flesh will behold godliness together. And He will appear over them with the majestic beauty of His power. The glory of God will fill the whole world. This will be when Mashiach comes. And Israel will see eye to eye. The human eye will be able to see the truth of Hashem, of godliness, just like it was by Matan Torah, by the giving of the Torah. What happened then? D'chsiv, as it is written, Ata horeisa ladas ki Hashem hu elikim einoid milvadei. You showed yourself so that it be known that God is the Lord, Hashem hu elikim, einoid milvadei. Nothing else. There is nothing else besides Him. That happened when? By Matan Torah. God gave the Torah. Except by Matan Torah, it lasted only for a short while. Because 40 days after they received the Torah, they already worshipped the golden calf. So that holiness and that godly revelation did not last. Why? Because it came from above. It came as a gift from above. So what now, after the whole long exile, and we work and we refine ourselves through doing mitzvahs and coming over our challenges, studying and understanding godliness through the teachings of Chassidus like we do today, and appreciating this. This is something that we will reach with our own work, and that's why the revelation will be a lasting revelation. And through this, when the Kalipas Neiga is being elevated to holiness, this will have a direct effect on the evil, that it will be eliminated. The three unclean Kalipas will be utterly annihilated and nullified. And we have to clarify, what does it mean? The evil will be nullified. The shalish klipis atmeis, the three shells will be nullified. If you remember, as we learned in the early previous chapters, in the beginning, it talks about what is the three evil kalipos? Everything which is not holiness, impure animals, and also the nations of the world. So are we saying that when Mashiach comes, the nations of the world will be nullified? Absolutely not. That's not what it means. What it does mean is that the negativity will be nullified. Just like the shell. The Rebbe once explained, it says in the Parshas Balak, it says, V'karka kol b'nei sheis. It will eliminate all, Mashiach will eliminate all the children of sheis. And the Rebbe explained that doesn't mean eliminating literally, but eliminating their opposition to godliness. Why? Because when Mashiach comes, the truth will shine. The Jews will be able to see and connect to the godliness. The nations of the world, those who are fighting Judaism, they will be eliminated. But those, the rest of the nations, they will be able to serve their true purpose, which is like the shell that protects the fruit. They will also be able to see their function in this world, which is to protect and to assist the Jewish people to reveal more and more godliness in this world. So this is what it means, that it will be eliminating all of the evil in this world, the three unclean kalipis. And how will this eliminate from this world? It says very simple. Ki yanikason v'chayuson me'akdusha achshav hi al yedei klipas noiga amamutzaz beineim. Because the nurture and the vitality which they now receive from holiness, remember, the evil doesn't have its own source of sustenance, because everything comes from God. Everything comes from holiness. So how are they nourished? How are they sustained? It is through the Kedusha, from the holiness. However, they need an intermediary. They cannot get directly from Kedusha. The intermediary is the Klipas Noiga, that neutral shell. So this comes from from them only by way of the Klipas Noiga, the intermediary between them. And now, when this intermediary, the Klipas Noiga, we will elevate into holiness completely, automatically, we cut off the source of life from the evil. V'nimtza, therefore, comes out as kol tachlis shel yemois HaMashiach u'tchiyas hamesim. Therefore, the purpose of the Messianic era and of the resurrection, which is the revelation of the glory of and divinity, and to the banishment of the spirit of impurity from the earth, that all depends. It is entirely dependent on our drawing down His holiness and godliness of the blessed Ein Sof. Lenefesh hachiyun is to draw down to the vital soul, shebechlolus Yisrael, that is in all Jewish people. Bechol ramach ivarel, in all 248 organs. Ayidei kiyuma kol ramach mitzvah, and this is by way of fulfilling the performance of all the 248 positive mitzvahs. And at the same time also, and also to remove the spirit of impurity from it, from the vital soul. How? When you keep all the 365 prohibitions, that the 365 blood vessels should not nourish from the spirit of impurity. As we explained yesterday, that it goes both ways. When a person, when the evil receives, like we said today earlier, when the evil receives its nourishment from the holiness, how does it receive? When a person violates a mitzvah, it gives more nourishments to the impurity. And at the same time, that the animal soul, the vital soul of the person that violated a mitzvah, receives his nourishment from the impurity, and therefore that cannot be elevated unless a person does teshuvah. So when you do teshuvah, you'll be able to remove yourself from this impurity. But once you do this, once the people follow the 248 positive mitzvahs and the 365 prohibitions, that elevates everything into holiness, that eliminates the source of the life from the evil. And the Rebbe explains, Ki klol Yisrael, shem shishim ribu neshamas pratiyos, because the community of Israel, which comprising of 600,000 particular souls, they are the general source of vitality for the world as a whole, since the world was created for the sake of these souls. Every soul is connected with a certain part of the world. V'chol prat mehem hu koilel v'shayach loi hachayus shel chelek echad meshishim riba miklal v'soilam. Each specific one of them contains, and to each is related, the vitality of 1/600,000 part of the entire world. And this part of the world depends on his vital soul for its elevation to God through the vital soul's own elevation. When the Jew is being elevated by the acts of holiness and good deeds, he elevates with him everything that was involved. How? Well, the Rebbe goes in specifics. He says, the Hainu, which means, this means he's partaking of this world for the requirements of his body and vital soul in the service of Hashem. Kegoin, for example, achilu shtiya v'deimeyan, by eating, drinking, and the like. You're going, taking a vacation, you're walking, you're sleeping, everything what you do. V'dira v'chol tashmishar, the dwelling, and all of its utensils, furniture, everything that is involved for you to live your life. And you come in contact, everything that is involved in this, also when you use your life in a positive way, Torah study, prayer, helping people, doing good deeds, working for the right cause, giving tzedakah, all of these things, do you elevate yourself, and all of the parts of the world that belongs to your soul is being elevated as well. However, we have more than 600,000 Jews, Baruch Hashem. And the Alter Rebbe explains that the 600,000 neshamas that we're talking about, they're only details. They're only the roots. There is each root has more and more subdivided into more and more souls. That's what he says here. These 600,000 particular souls, they are the roots. And each root soul is subdivided into 600,000 sparks. Each spark is one soul, one neshama. And the same thing is also, not only that, there is also the other parts, levels of souls. There's neshama and nefesh and ruach. Neshama are souls that are more intellectual. Nefesh is more action. Ruach is more emotional. Similarly, with nefesh and ruach in each of the worlds, Atzilus, Bria, Yetzir, Asiya, those are the four spiritual worlds. In each of these four worlds are found all three soul levels, nefesh, ruach, and neshama. And they are connected with all of the neshamas of this generation. So this is a beautiful lesson. What we learn, what we take from today's Tanya lesson, is we are now already in the footsteps of Mashiach. The Rebbe explained many times, and as we see also with the fact that the Rebbe sent out thousands of shluchim around the world. So whether you're an official shaliach and go and find yourself in the end of the world, and even there is one Jew that does one mitzvah in that place, he elevates everything, the entire surrounding, everything that it comes in contact with. That big world today became much, much smaller through our ways of communication. We come in contact today with so many parts and around the world, and when we use those things, just like we use now the Zoom, which some people in China sit and do the technology, they also become part of this elevation of this world. And this, Bezrat Hashem, gives us the encouragement to do one more mitzvah every single day. And we focus on what we can do more to elevate ourselves and to elevate the world around us, and then we'll be able to see ultimately the redemption of the entire world with the coming of Mashiach. Thank you so much for joining today, and we'll open for discussion.